Hey guys, welcome back, and today we have another week of grosses, so let's get into it. So Anne Juliet did 93%, did 83% last week, and 86% this week, and 775k to 863k, which is a pretty substantial increase and a much better week for Anne Juliet. And apparently Anne Juliet just recouped all of their money, which is an amazing thing, and most musicals don't even get to do that. So, again, I don't think it's in any danger of closing anytime soon or of, going down the drain. But again, it is definitely doing, more milder business than what it was doing in its first year, and even at the beginning of this year, but it's still in fine condition, but I do keep a little bit of an eye out for it, even though I think it has many more years to come. A Beautiful Noise, in its final weeks, went from 56% to 70%, and 803k to 941k. Back to the Future had its first good week in months, well, not months, but, in a while, going from 81% to 90%, and 956k to 1,100,487. Ben Platt Live The Palace went from 650k to 680k, and 73% to 81%. And as I've talked about extensively last week, I think Ben Platt has been overexposed, and as much as these are decent numbers, they'd be lying if they'd say that they're happy. They're disappointed. It's underwhelming numbers. It just is what it is. It's not horrible, but it is what it is. And I'm not a Ben Platt hater. I love Ben Platt. But you gotta call something what it is. Cabaret went from 99.19 to 99.85, and 1,864,257 to 1,899,832. Hadestown went from 828k to 878k, and 97% to 100%. Hamilton went from 97% to 99%, and 1,881,810 to 1,905,404. Hell's Kitchen is just the gangbusters blockbuster of the season. Who would have thought? I wouldn't have. I mean, and even people that thought it's gonna do better than people think would not have believed it would have done this well. It sold out again this week, and it went from 1,560,251 to 1,638,208. I mean, this isn't even half of 2 million. This is like whatever comes after half. I failed math in high school. I'm sorry. But what I'm saying is that Hell's Kitchen is gangbuster at the box office. Now, could this work to its detriment? Because I know a lot of people are saying Hell's Kitchen's going to win Best Musical. It's not. If you look at the past winners, Hell's Kitchen does not fit the criteria, and I think it's too much of a box office bomb, box office hit to win Best Musical. Because it's just doing so amazing. I think a Best Musical win would obviously help it immensely, and the nomination, the good reviews, helped it immensely. But even if it got bad reviews, they weren't, complete slashes, and they got a couple Tony nominations, I still think this would have done extremely well. Not this well, but very good. Illinois did okay, last week 82%, this week 84%, and 702k to 700k. And again, I think that the only way that I see this extending is if it wins Best Musical, because so far it is doing better than the other prestige Best Musical front runners, and it is doing pretty substantially decent, but it's not doing amazing, and not enough to justify going to another theater. So if it wants to extend and go to another theater, which is what would have to happen, it's got to win Best Musical. And if it wins Best Musical and it doesn't extend, I'd be surprised. But I respect it too. They go for the art. But anyways, Merrily sold out, going from 1,148,603 to 1,762,019, and it was so low because Dan Radcliffe was out for a couple of performances. Moulin Rouge is continuing a very bad decline, going from 93% to 92%. And 960k to 989k. Very bad for Moulin Rouge. Can't really go past $1 million. Again, it's not going to close. I think this will be around for a couple more years because it's made so much money. But, before COVID, this musical was making gangbuster numbers, and they never seem to get back to that. And it's unfortunate. Six went from 89% to 89%, and 811K to 845K. Suffs went from 90% to 94%, and 759K to 851K, a very good increase, and it's exactly where Suffs want to be. Again, if it wins Best Musical, this can go on for a couple of years. If it doesn't, I predict it closes come end of the year. The Great Gatsby went from 87% to 93%, and 1,103,463 to 1,172,167, and I do think that this show will have a good couple of years, I think. Could it close at the end of the year? Yes, but with how well it's doing, I don't see it dramatically decreasing come the fall. I think it will, and it will go through some scary moments in the fall, but I think it will make it through. Heart of Rock and Roll, when is it closing? 58% last week, 55% this week, 257 last week, 272K this week. The Notebook had a better week, going from 81% to 89%, and 667K to 711K. Again, I do think that The Notebook could close by Labor Day, but I think it will stick it out by at least the end of the year. But I definitely think it's going to go to the 4s and the 5s maybe in the fall. Could happen in the summer, but with the brand of The Notebook and how anticipated it was, this is a major letdown. The Outsiders is continuing to sell out, going from 1,024,250 to 1,101,598. The Who's Tommy went from 72% to 71%, and 741K to 750K. So they definitely have seen a huge decrease in sales. So I'll predict it closes come the end of the year, because I think it will do decent in the summer. But again, revivals only tend to go for at most a year and a half, and this seems to be more of a revival that goes on for a few months. The Wiz continues to sell out. 91% last week, 93% this week, 1,379,791 this week, and 1,372,094 this week. And then to cap it off, Water for Elephants, 79% last week, 82% this week, and 964K to 1,019,986. So those are the grosses for this week. Not a lot's changed personally for me in terms of my opinions on what's going to stay open and what's going to close. A pretty solid week all around, and I'm very excited for the Tony Awards. If you want me to do a prediction video, I can do a prediction video. So let me know in the comments down below. Like, subscribe, comment, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.